But guess what happens? We're cooking this meat. We're just enjoying the nature, the water flowing. We can hear the water flowing in the streams up in Kiryat Shmona. Okay, right near Kiryat Shmona. Suddenly we hear ba-boom! It sounded just like I hear in Gaza, and it was a missile from Hezbollah, and it was very close to us. I had little Nadav, my little 4-year-old son Nadav, with me, and I'm like, man, we could literally be dead right now. I mean, I get this in Gaza a lot, but to have this in the Galilee or in the north of Israel, it's kind of different. With my family, you're eating steak and you're like almost killed. It's a mind. It's hard. These are hard times.
For the first time in my life, I understand why Israel is important.
This book has been fearfully and wonderfully made. There's intelligent design.
If we just put our head in the sand, it would just get worse. Inaction is action.
When people say, like, why do you think persecution hasn't come to the American church? My answer is because we are not a threat to the devil.
I believe that right now, especially in the days that we're living in, is that we need to be a Corey ten Boom type of people.
We're in a war with the unseen also, and the enemy will get in any way he can.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Gather podcast. I'm Aaron Shust and my co-host Joshua Aaron here. Today we've got Chaim Malespin with us, Sergeant Major Chaim Malespin.
You guys are in for a treat, and we have so many incredible guests, but Chaim is the life of the party. He lives up to his name. He is the life of the party and a strong believer in the Lord and a good friend for many years. So I am so excited to share him with you all.
Chaim heads up the Aliyah Return Center in Israel in the north, does so much stuff. He'll talk about it a little bit, and we'll put some information in the show notes for you guys to learn more, but you're going to thoroughly enjoy this episode. So without any further ado, Chaim Malespin. All right, friends, here we are. Chaim Malespin is our guest today. Welcome, Chaim.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me on. What a blessing. What a privilege.
Absolutely. This is the privilege is all ours. This is the full disclosure. This is our second attempt to do this because the first one we were lots of technical difficulties and challenges with Wi-Fi, and so we thought, you know what? Being that we are catching 1 in every 10 words, let's try this again. So, and the beautiful thing about this, we were even saying this morning, is let's just see where this leads. I don't exactly remember everything that we talked about last time. We're not trying to duplicate it, but we've been friends for a long time. You and Joshua much longer. Honored to be the token Gentile that you've invited into the fold. Where are you, my friend? Where are you today? Besides your car.
I'm in the Galilee. I've been released on a small break, which I've been privileged to get some nice little breaks. I know that those Americans who serve in Iraq or Afghanistan or whatever, it's usually like 6 months, no house. But because our war zone is right here at our doorstep, you know, in southern and northern Israel, we have the privilege of coming home more often and having these brief check on the home and the house and the job in between. It's very dynamic lifestyle for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm glad you're home. I wasn't sure where you were going to be today. The last time I saw you was a few weeks ago in the south, right on the outside the border of Gaza. Of course, I couldn't go into Gaza, and you go in regularly. And we're going to talk about all these things. Joshua, what's up? Jump in.
I saw, you know, Aaron and I did the changing of the guard. I saw you probably 2 weeks before Aaron. Then I brought Emma home from the IDF that she finished. And then Aaron, I wish Aaron and our trip aligned, but it didn't work out. But
we covered all of August together. You had the front half, I had the back half. Yeah.
Wow. We got to spend some time with Chaim. So we love you, man. And we're so excited to get to share you with everybody whenever we can, because you are a gem on this blue planet.
It's so, you guys are both so sweet. And I'll be honest, the encouragement is so needed. It's just needed. I mean, in the land of Israel, there's so much stress that weighs heavy on you. I mean, Nasrallah, is he going to literally make World War III happen on us like right now? Is that what I was literally camping, not camping, but I went to cook some meat just as I got out as a celebration yesterday. I just got out yesterday, and I go with my dad. He shows up. He's this very calm. He hardly says a word. He's just quiet, very quiet person.
Do you take after your mom?
That's correct.
Yeah, he does.
And I do. And then, but guess what happens? We're cooking this meat. We're just enjoying the nature, the water flowing. We could hear the water flowing in the streams up in Kiryat Shmona. Okay, right near Kiryat Shmona. Suddenly we hear, ba-boom! It sounded just like I hear in Gaza, and it was a missile from Hezbollah, and it was very close to us. I had little Nadav, my little 4-year-old son Nadav, with me. And I'm like, man, we could literally be dead right now. I mean, I get this in Gaza a lot, but to have this in the Galilee or in the north of Israel,
with your family,
it's kind of different. With my family, you're eating steak and you're like almost killed. It's a mind. It's hard. These are hard times.
I was just going to say, we don't, I was just talking to my daughter late last night because I just brought her out of the IDF. She finished and she was just saying how, she's just trying to shift from army to civilian. And she said, it's kind of hard to say the least. She said, it's kind of hard. And I'm thinking about you right now. You've got 3 children and every time you get a break, you go from battle to hugs and cooking on the grill for your family and all the other stuff you're doing. And that really, I told my daughter, I said, this is not normal. Like yes, it's going to be hard and I'm here for you, So we're here for you and we know, and just know it's hard. If your brain's telling me, why am I going through this? Like, yeah, because it's stinking hard, but you're going to do it and God's going to get you through it. And, I can't imagine. I can't imagine. You're a flipping warrior in so many ways.
It is true that you just got to dive into the Word of God and hold on to something that's eternal. On the end of every email, I put in infinite blessings, the word infinite blessings, because I'm like, there is an eternal that's just there. It's just at, it's at arms. It's right in front of you, just like the air you breathe. This is the air I breathe. Mm-hmm. And we can latch on to that eternal blessing and hold on to it. And that's what I challenge myself to do again and again. I have to do it every day because otherwise you can get into depression. You can get into sadness, extreme sadness, and so on.
What a word. Amen. Thank you for saying that. And we see that in you. We absolutely, that's not, I mean, there's nothing in what you said that makes me think, oh, he's full of it. He's making this up, because I am nothing short of amazed at how you can be in the situations that you're in. And I have seen you, like I just said, face to face, seconds away from the border, and you have this spirit that is indomitable. Like it seems that you can't be suppressed. And now listen, before I just puff you up too much, what you just said is the absolute truth. If you don't go to the Lord, if you don't spend time in His Word, if you don't spend time in prayer, you will be depressed. You will become, it's so easy for us to become selfish and self-centered and woe is me. And,
So
and what a testimony.
Our role is to build our brothers and sisters up. So hopefully we can keep doing it, even if it's just here.
That's one of the purposes of this podcast, is to build up the brothers, to bolster the faith, and you're doing just that.
Brothers together. We're together.
I love the fact that gather, just the word gather. I mean, we are all about community and building community. And it's not all about any one individual and any one, it's about the body of Messiah, the team, in the army, I really learned about team. I mean, I knew about it for years and years. I've been in the army for 20 years. Now I'm in reserves, but 20 years ago is when I first went in, and you learn about building a strong team. And even in the Aliyah Return Center charity, I'm trying always to build a team and go together. If you want to go quickly, go alone. You want to go the distance, go together. That's one of the mottos I hold on to.
That's good.
And that's what Gather is doing. You're gathering everybody in these times because we need each other. Yeah.
I remember you and I talking about the word gather, the mikabetz, like it's right. It's like the word kibbutz.
Yeah. Yes.
Can you explain that? Because I remember you telling me a little about the root of that word, or that word in Hebrew.
The whole, when Israel was founded, there was these kibbutzes. It was a communal. Now, some people some forces were trying to push onto us communism, socialism. But we were like, no, we are social. We're not socialist. We are communal. We're not communist. But people couldn't figure that out. But we're like, what we call this is a joint initiative, a bunch of farmers helping each other, and we love each other, but we're not socialist. Okay. And we want to, my friend lives in a kibbutz, Mishmar Emek, and they have all the keys of all the cars, up on, and they can choose. No one gets a salary. Everyone gets the same amount of allotment of money. And this sounds like communism. Okay. Not. Not though, not. It's what it is just everybody's wanting to help each other in these kibbutzes, and that's how the nation of Israel was able to survive against all odds because we came together. I think community is a very biblical good thing. Again, not to be twisted and confused with a bad, evil thing called, communism. But to be communal is like the Acts. It's like Acts, and that is good. And it's a fine
All
line,
things in
but
common.
it's a good thing.
Acts chapter 4? Yeah.
Yeah, you have this gathering together, all things in
4.
common. And so that's what kibbutz is. It means the gathering. You could say podcast, what is it, the Gather podcast? It's the kibbutz podcast because it's the gathering together. And here's the thing though, is kibbutz galuyot. Kibbutz galuyot is the ingathering of the exiles, the ingathering of the lost tribes. That's kibbutz galuyot, and that's what I believe in, and that's what Aliyah is the kibbutz, the gather of the scattered Jewish people back to Israel. So I'm all about
Beautiful.
the name gather. You guys are doing the right thing.
Correct myself. Acts chapter 2. Acts chapter 2. I knew it was an even number. It was It was earlier in the story. Acts chapter 2, of course. Hey, we got some questions for you, and then we just want you to just spin off and talk, or answer those questions, or talk about something else. We just want to hear from you. Let's start shallow, then we'll go deep. I've heard your name pronounced many different ways. Let's hear it from you, my friend. Let's hear you say your name and give us an explanation of how, if you don't grow up saying, how do you say it?
Right. Yeah. So when someone says, now different countries have different ways of saying like cheers, or we say l'chaim, which is to life, which I think, again, we're talking about amazing phrases that guiding light. I think l'chaim, to life, that's an Israeli Jewish expression, to life. And we're all here to eternal life, to life. That's what we're here for. We're all trying to but whereas there's some radical extremists that worship death and they call it martyrdom, or killing oneself, killing others, death, murder. That is not, we're the polar opposite. We are life, all about life, preserving life. And so Chaim is my name. Now, and so your neighbor has to feel it on their face. Chaim. Okay. Then you know you're saying it right. Okay. And Chaim means
I
life.
could feel it 6,000 miles away.
But then Chaim so the name Chaim, that's how you say it, Chaim, and Chaim is actually life. So there's a name, Chaim, that's life, and then when you're actually saying the word life, it's Chaim.
Reminds me of,
it's kind of like an extra syllable, Chaim.
Reminds me of Yeshua.
But your name is
Yeshua.
Chaim.
Reminds me of Yeshua. Yeshua is his name. It means salvation, but salvation is Yeshua.
Yeah.
It's like a little
Yeshua. Correct. It's a little innuendo there, pronunciation. It's funny with Finnish, you have to, and Chinese too, you have to listen to the whole sentence, and then the last little accentuation changes the whole thing.
Sorry.
Like, I want to go to shopping with all of my friends, not, and then it's like, oh, wow. He doesn't.
I'm laughing because, Aaron and I are thinking we could hear you saying this with a Finnish accent, because Chaim is the king of accents.
I do. I have to
the Finnish one might be my favorite. Maybe not for this podcast. We might need a new podcast for Chaim's accents. I don't know.
Yeah, you're gonna have to hang on for the Chaim 2 interview.
We want to keep our Finnish followers. So
that's right.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's true. But I will say that going to life, and my name life, I do feel that is a very good expression. I'm not saying anything against skål, which is like in Sweden, Norway, they'll say skål, which is skål. They would drink from the enemies.
Or in Minnesota with the Vikings. Yes.
The Vikings. But we just say to life because everything is about that eternal life and how we can all get there together and gather towards that purpose. And there's a galvanization. It's either death or life. Choose you this day who you will serve. I lay before you life and death, a blessing, a curse. And we're seeing people make their choice to go for anarchy, to go for lies, and to go for the devil's business instead of life. And the choice is in front of us all. Choose life.
Love it. Love it. Man, I wish you had more thoughts on that.
Yeah.
That was amazing. I asked you how to pronounce your name, and you just took us to the throne. It was incredible.
It's
amazing.
Oh, I got your name here. Chai.
That's right.
Close. Chai.
Oh, on the
Chai,
necklace. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
life.
Life.
Oh, and I got the little.
Before
Bring
I
them
knew
home.
Hebrew, I thought that was a little donkey.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
I saw
really?
It looked like
I
a little
saw a
donkey.
meme on Instagram that said, "Oh, what is it? Who got this moose necklace?"
A moose
A
necklace?
moose. Yeah, I
Oh,
saw it online once. It looks like a moose, but
it
it's
could be
Chai.
like
Yeah.
an elephant. Maybe an
Yeah, I was
elephant.
just thinking that with the little
Yeah.
baby elephant with the little baby chunk. Nope. And then you were showing us your necklace.
Yeah, it's
Chaim,
just this is
Yeah.
one. It has English and Hebrew, which is
love
bring
it.
them home now. But in Hebrew, it says Halev shalom shavui be'aza. Our hearts our hearts are hostage. Our hearts are hostage in Gaza. Our hearts are held
Mm.
hostage in Gaza, which is really sad. I would actually not have said bring them home now. I would have said let my people go, like what you'd say to an evil
100%,
pharaoh.
right?
Isn't that interesting? You'd say that to an evil
Whoa.
pharaoh, but Pharaoh's not going to bring them home now. Although in the book of Isaiah, chapter 49, verse 22, it does say, "Bring them home." The Jewish people will be carried, be brought in their arms and on their shoulders. So maybe it's an Aliyah thing hidden in there too.
How
I
about
don't
that?
know.
Maybe. No,
I
I
don't
like
know.
let my people go.
Boom.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah, let
Yeah.
my people go is what
Strong.
Moses said to the evil
Or the
Pharaoh.
plagues will come upon you. It's like a threat,
Correct.
I
The
love
judgment.
that.
I would have
Hmm.
said that, but it is what it is, and I am praying for that. And it's very sad when they were executed, in a tunnel. Right, I was literally there after I was with you, Aaron. I was at that tunnel. I mean, I said Aaron because that's everybody in this call. It
Right.
could be Josh or Aaron. Aaron too.
No,
No, but
it's oh,
yeah, yeah. I was at that
and
tunnel where
today
those
is
hostages were killed.
because obviously this won't be airing today. Today is the 10th of September for a timestamp, although this will be airing later. So you're speaking about the six that were just found executed, and the tunnel
Yeah,
beginning was in a school with a painted wall with Disney
yep,
characters on it, and
yep.
they could choose to paint whatever they want to. But the point is the fact that this was hidden
In a school, yeah.
near a school with a kindergarten.
Yeah, right. And people aren't used to that in a mosque, in a school. It's kind of like, why is
Hmm.
it there? Why is the battle? Why must we go there to get these hostages? We don't want to go there. I don't want to go in a mosque. I don't want to go in a school, hospital. I don't want to go in an El Shifa hospital. But this is what we must do to restore security. I mean, it's not just hostages that are held there. What about all the bomb making facilities, rocket making facilities? What about the whole entire Batty McBadstein thing that they are doing? And no, but it's
Yeah.
bad ideology, bad parenting, bad teaching, bad indoctrination.
I was
Evil at its roots.
I was talking to Shiloh Ben
Mm-hmm.
Hod when I was there, and he was talking about some of the what would you call it, curriculum
Yes.
that was being discovered in these schools as you guys are going in. And he was this conversation came up because when I was with Shiloh, he was teaching his son, 5-year-old, 6-year-old son, math, and his classic situation. The son's frustrated and he's crying because he doesn't want to be doing school at home and homework, and he's learning addition and multiplication and
Right.
stuff. And Sheila was telling me that some of this curriculum that they're finding in Gaza, for example, like he said, you might know that for addition, there's a basket of 3 apples, and then you add a basket of 2 apples. How many apples do you have? He said, but
Mm-hmm.
in some of this curriculum, and please give me your thoughts on this, was like if you have 5 Jews and you kill 2,
Mm-hmm.
how many Jews are left? Like that's what
Yeah,
these kindergarten kids
for
are
real.
learning to
Whoa.
learn math.
For real. It's absolutely true. I've seen it myself, my own eyes in a school, and I'm looking through just even the pictures say my Arabic isn't that good to read. Everyone's supposed to learn Arabic and Hebrew and English in school here. My kids are learning that. Joshua Aaron's kids were learning that in the Galilee. But you know what it is? Just the pictures are showing the evil, oppressive Jews, and it's like, have you ever met a Jew? What would cause you to say? There was a video I was looking at. I posted of Gaza before the massacre that they did on us, before the kidnapping 251 people and wounding 3,300 people, and just the massacre they did, and you see how beautiful Gaza really was. I mean, receiving billions and billions of dollars since in the last 20 years, something like $8 billion. It's like they're receiving more than any country and they're not even an actual country, but any
Capita, maybe?
territory or per capita, they should all be millionaires, at least in shekels.
Wow.
They should be, but of course their leaders hate them. They hate their own people. They rob from their own people. They are like the sheriff of Nottingham, the Hamas.
Yeah.
And the Islamic Jihad, and they sell them these lies, and it's sad. It's sad to see people falling for this, even in other countries. It should be rebuked and cast from this world, these lies. But yeah, you see how beautiful Gaza was. You see it. You see the beautiful fountains and banks and parks and pristine beach, and they brought quite a lot of destruction on their own people because of their actions.
So sad. Let's continue in this. One of the big topics of conversation is the poor people of Gaza and being subjected to the shelling of Israel. And so what's your heart about? You're describing the evil that is Hamas and the leadership.
Yeah.
And you can even go further than that and talk about the Iranian regime. But there's people who are subjected to that. And I'm sure, and only God knows the hearts. I'm not here to judge hearts. That's not my place. Talk about that.
Well, it is God's will that none should perish. That's no one should perish, not even the most evil people. It's not God's will that any perish, but that all have life and abundant life. That is the will of God. It's no mistake there. However, there is a judgment not only on bad shepherds where they mislead a flock, but there's judgment in the book of Ezekiel, the book of Jeremiah on the evil shepherds. This has been a theme that's been reoccurring in my mind. I said it on Fox News when I was on Fox News. I was on all these things like Newsmax or all these different channels. I don't remember, CBN, so many of them. But anyway, people just wanted to know, what do I think about what's going on? And I just said, there's a duty of shepherds to shepherd the flock of Israel and shepherd your flock. And it doesn't just mean feed. You have to use your rod and your staff. You have a rod is like a stick. It's to beat a bear. Staff has got a little hook, and it'll rescue the lambs. So your job is to protect the sheep of the house of Israel, not just feed them. If you're just feeding them and a bear eats that, King David's like, no, I beat this bear, I beat this lion, and I won't let them steal the flocks. I rescued the flocks. He was a good shepherd. Okay. So there's also bad shepherds, talks about it in Jeremiah, that are taking people down a way of death. And so, what does it mean to be an innocent bystander? Let's say you're standing in the road and somebody goes and just beats an old lady up, and you just stand there and say, cool, here's some sweets. Now, are you an innocent bystander, or are you actually complicit? So it's there is a lot of complicitness that's happening there. But again, what do you do with just the people that don't want to be, that speak out and are killed? There was a very famous guy that was all over just recently that said, down with Hamas, down with this oppression, down with these lies. And then he was killed right after that. I mean, just murdered by his own people.
Where was this?
In Gaza City. And so he was an Arab man that's saying, we don't want this oppression, and he was killed. But so my point, I feel bad for that. What my point is that every Arabic person, Palestinian isn't actually a country, or it isn't actually a ethnicity. It's the pan-Arabic peoples, and there's different kinds of Arabic peoples in different places. There's Persian. They make nice carpets. There's let's call in Afghanistan, you have the tribes there, the Pashtun tribes. Maybe they're even Jewish heritage. You have the Egyptians. You have the Yemenite people are a beautiful people that dance. They've got the cool regalia and the little curved swords, and they do the guys dance, and they've got all this tradition, but it's been colonized by Islam. Colonized, brownwashed, you might call it, whatever. And it's just colonized, and people can't be who they are because they're shut down. In Persia, they speak Persian, and the Quran is all in Arabic. It was forced on them. They don't even speak that language. They don't know who Muhammad is. That's not my guy. That's not my book. That's not my thing. I'm a Persian. I like a carpet. I like take Jasmine on flying carpet. This is what they like. Okay, that's probably Saudi Arabia. But point is,
that is, yeah.
yeah, it's Saudi Arabia. But anyway, the important thing is they don't want to be suppressed. They don't want to be oppressed. They don't want to do that. But it's forced on them, and I feel very bad about it. I think we need to be praying for their liberation, for their let my
Yeah.
people go. And I could say that about Egypt. It says, Egypt, my people, in Isaiah chapter 19. Egypt are my
Yes.
people, God says. Let my people go. Let them go too from this. And I wish for them to be free. I don't know if that answers you, but I think that this whole called refining process, if we just put our head in the sand, it would just get worse. If people think that putting your head in the sand, appeasement of the enemy is going to fix something or do something good, it will not. It's quite the opposite. Inaction is action. Inaction is action. You're
Yes.
giving
Yes.
the enemy a way to grow,
Yes.
and at least we
Yeah.
know where we stand. We know that how many people are in the schools and the universities, in Columbia University, in Ireland, in all kinds of places in the world. We see where they are now. We thought we were just fine. Israel's fine. Life is fine. We could fall asleep at the wheel and we could coast on the bicycle and it's all going to be fine. But no, we've hit some bumps. Big bumps, and I'm glad for that in some weird way, because at least we know what's going on now, all through
Yeah.
Judea, Samaria, all through Iran, all through the Houthis, all through 7-front war right now.
Hey, you mentioned
Hezbollah.
the handing out of sweets. You gave the example of if we see a woman beat on the street, we just stand by and we go, cool, hand out sweets. For those who aren't familiar with that reference, that just came up in the news a couple days ago. Tell us about what you even mean by that, handing out of sweets.
It's a tradition for a long time that whenever it's part of teaching. You know how if a child does their chores, they get a reward, and it teaches your children to get to do the right thing. You made your bed, I'll give you a reward. You
Positive
can have a
reinforcement.
horseback ride. Here's some sweets. Okay. What they do is anytime a Jew is killed, or kidnap the hostages, there's so much of this rejoicing and handing out sweets to the children. We've got another Jew murdered. Yay. Even if they didn't do it, they want them to feel like they're part of it and to rejoice in that the blood of a Jew is spilled, until eventually what's promised in the Quran or in the Hadith, maybe it's the Hadith, where it says the rocks will say, there's a Jew hiding from the Muslim under this rock, under this tree. There's a Jew hiding behind this tree. Come kill him quick. Come chop his head off quick. And that's the future that some peoples are wanting and believing for.
And where is this happening? Who's doing this in which streets? Where's this happening?
This continues to be all throughout Judea, Samaria, Tulkarm, Kalkilia, even down to Bethlehem, Jericho. These are places that were kind of, the Christians were getting pushed out of Bethlehem. And instead of, on Christmas, they've shut it down because they said it's just jihad bells from now on. Jihad bells, jihad all the way. And I'm like,
oh my.
And they're like, and I'm like, no, that's not what it's supposed to be in Bethlehem. And you know who else would not be allowed to go visit Bethlehem under the Oslo Accords? Yeshua, Jesus. He is forbidden by the Oslo Accords to enter into Bethlehem because that's Area A. That is a Palestinian territory. And no, Jesus, there's no room at the inn for you and Mary and there's no room for you at all. Get out. And so when that separation is happening, and not a gathering, but a separation, what you have is a breeding of more terror, teaching terror, indoctrination. Here's some sweets, teaching a whole generation that terror wins, and that's what they should do. So that's bad.
It's an epitome of bad and the root of evil. You can see it if that you teach your children this. This is unbelievable. It's unprecedented. Now you mentioned about inaction is action, and I remember somebody close to me was telling me, why are you wearing that hat everywhere? You're going to get yourself beat up. And I'm like, I don't want to be silent. My friends are over there. My children are over there serving right now. I flew through France a few times in just the last several months, and I think I get the most sneers there because there's a lot of, immigrants from the Middle East, Some, not all of them, but some of them, I feel the sneers that are working for Air France and in the airport. I feel their gaze. Like I was just in Nashville, and I heard two guys speaking in Arabic, and they were. I don't think I told you this, Aaron, but I went to, was it Ross's? I forget where I got my cool shirt. When I'm when I'm on the road, sometimes I'll go to Ross and get a $10 shirt that looks like it's really expensive. Anyways, there's these two guys speaking in Arabic. And I was just smiling, trying to be a good guy. They were following me for like 10 minutes. They had no reason to switch lanes when I switched lanes. And I'm like, holy crap, I'm wearing this big obnoxious Israel hat. And this is Nashville, Tennessee. That's not the native language. Yeah, and of course, America is it's an open country for my family's here. My dad's side, 2 generations. My mom's side, she's the first generation American. But you know, I was scared for a moment there. I was pretty scared. I even when I walked out, I let them go out first. I went and tried on another shirt I didn't even want to try on. And I walked out outside about 10 minutes after I thought they left, and I'm just like walking to my car, like, are they near the car? Like I felt it just a little bit, but I mean, I want to keep the action because I feel like silence is, there's probably another slogan as well. You know, even the Holocaust, the church was so silent. And I cannot believe how silent the church is today. Yes, there's a lot of people in the church, but leaders, for the most part, and I'm sure it's a given. Majority of Christian leaders are silent about Israel, and it's a travesty. It's a tragedy.
It is, and the only thing that evil people need to succeed is for good people to be silent and not to speak out. And that is what we must do. And it doesn't mean Israel's perfect, but you know, if Israel was doing a genocide or doing apartheid, they love to throw big words out that people don't even unpack. Be like, someone saying, so you're saying that we've been doing a genocide during this war, or Israel's been doing a genocide since 1948 when you came here from the Holocaust? Okay, so how come the population's increased dramatically in Gaza? How come it's boomed? A population boom has happened. How come there's so many?
We pulled our own people out of Gaza.
How come we're supplying food and water and all electricity since Egypt left Gaza to us? Because it wasn't a country or anything. And we should have just said, we don't want it. You keep it, Egypt. But okay, we decided to supply water and electricity and sewage and gardens and greenhouses. And what kind of a genocidal thing is that to do? You know, but people never, medicine. How come we gave Sinwar, the mastermind of the massacre, how come we saved his life and did a brain surgery, removed that tumor? What kind of a genocidal thing is that to do?
If Israel is guilty of genocide, they're failing miserably.
Yeah. Is it horrible and sad that people are dying? Yes, it is horrible and sad, and it pains my heart. It really does. I love to give water out to Palestinians, food. Whenever I can, I'll just give in the army in Gaza. They see a soldier giving it, and they're like, "Wow." They know that they've been lied to. They're seeing it now. They're seeing it more and more, that it's total lies that the Hamas has sold them and taught them from a young generation. Because when we left Gaza, those were young kids that are now fighting us in Hamas. They were very young, because that was 2005. So they would have been like young kids, and now they're 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 16-year-olds. That's what they are now. They were very young at that time, and they got just indoctrinated, and now we are, because they're bad shepherds again. Now we are where we are today. But my point is, it is sad to see it, but then you look at any other war in the history, where do you see any genocidal? What kind of a thing is it to do to put pamphlets out there and say, please move? I hate to do this, but please move to this safe zone. We're texting, hundreds of thousands of texts, drones. Please move this area. This place has a rocket launcher. We can't let it keep shooting us. We have to remove it. So please move. Please move to the safe area. What kind of a genocidal thing is that to do?
And the IDF is doing this, is what you're saying. And if I understand you correctly, you're saying you hate to do this because it telegraphs your intentions to the enemy.
Correct.
Right?
And I also hate for them to have to move. I hate for people to have to move. It's uncomfortable to have to move from place to place.
Sure.
But yes, it also is very unprofessional. It's not a good way to fight a war. Tell the enemy territory, including the Hamas, what you plan to do. And they often will put more people there around the rocket launchers or around the laboratories of explosives. in order to, because we just said what we're going to do.
Yeah, evacuation
call it off.
You hear evacuation. Like even my son was asking me yesterday about Gaza. He was like, "Is everybody evacuated?" I'm like, "No, there are people still there." I said, "Just imagine if we got the call. This is our house. This is where everything is. This is where we live. This is home. Like it would take a lot for us." And there's always stories about people who are like, "No, I'm not leaving." Like in the worst of situations, "No, I'm not leaving. This is my home." And that's a lot of the situation, of course.
Yeah,
well, I love. Go ahead, Joshua.
Well, no, just thinking, I don't want to interrupt you, but just thinking they can't come into Israel, and we wish they could, because there's a high percentage that want to kill us, and Egypt won't let them in. And that's, it's kind of this crazy, and nobody talks about Egypt when Egypt is the other border. And there, it's kind of, it's shockingly unbelievable how, my grandmother fled the Holocaust. My great grandmother was killed in the Holocaust. And, you hear, she didn't like to talk about it much, but you hear this, what she had gone through, just anti-Semitism alone. You never thought you'd feel that today. And I don't think I could describe it as anything else except anti-Semitism. Nobody says the word Egypt once as far as Gaza being stuck there. Egypt's the other border.
It's evil.
And,
can we call a spade a spade? And by evil, I don't mean people making bad decisions. I mean from the mind of Satan. It's been from the beginning this way. And that's why, like, you look at the Holocaust and think, why this will never be repeated? Because we believe that humanity is going to get smarter and better and nicer and kinder. And evil is evil. Satan is Satan. He's got an agenda, and he will execute it. Your people have been hated since Exodus 1, I told a friend today, if not beforehand, at least by, as far as historical records are concerned.
Yeah.
When Pharaoh tried to kill all the babies, like you're so used to being hated, which is an incredible thing. As I see you, Chaim, full of life, living up to your name. As I walked through the streets of Jerusalem last month, people dancing in the streets when rockets are flying overhead, and like, what in the world? It's incredible.
We just won't let them stop us. I remember my one friend from Yahalom. He was so broken after losing friends, burying friends, and he says, I go back home and I get a nice little break, and I just can't connect with anyone. I can't talk about some stuff is secret, but some stuff is just, people won't connect with you. They're living their life. He said, they're watching their TV shows, living their life. They don't understand me. And I said, what do you want them to do? Go into mourning? I said, bro, you're going through a very hard time, but what do you want them to do? You want the country to stop and everybody go into mourning and put on sackcloth and ashes? No, you want life to succeed and win. He's like, you're absolutely right. You want to go out and see restaurants open, dancing. You don't want everybody to be sad.
You're fighting for
that life to, you're fighting for that so that they won't be, go into fear and allow fear to overcome. One day I said, I refuse to be run by fear. I refuse to let a spirit of fear be over me. And it was starting to come on with me just before I went to Rafah, or Rafiah, however you pronounce it. And one is the Arabic way, one's the Hebrewish way. And so I was feeling this kind of like worry, extensive worry, almost fear of death a little bit. And I'm like, and I knew that it's going to be very intense. I knew it. And you have these people saying, don't do it. It's a death trap. I'm like, obviously it's a death trap. That's what they're preparing for us, bombs and more bombs and missiles and tripwires and so on. But then I said, I refuse to. It says 365 times? It says many times in the Bible. I don't know, average 365, one for every day. Fear not. Do not be afraid. And so I just refuse to let that. My friend, I'll just say this. My friend was just telling me, he's from Andesa, combat engineer like me. And he was sharing, if we did know the exact day and the exact hour that is appointed for us to die, what if you knew that? What would you do with your time? Would you spend your time, and there's nothing you could do to change it. Would you spend your time worrying? It's really real? Yeah, it's real. It's really going to happen? Yeah. I'm so worried now. Well, why don't you spend your time in joy and in gladness and time with family and good memories? You would want to use that time wisely. Now, here's the beautiful thing. We don't know the day or hour. So all the more reason not to worry and not to fear. And that is where I made a choice. And it's just a choice. Do not be afraid. It didn't say try not to fear. Do not allow for a spirit of fear to be, and just be bold and courageous like Joshua. Aaron, Joshua in the Bible.
Yeah, right. When did you make that decision in your life?
Well, it just became very real before Rafah. So right before the big incursion into Rafah was when that moment was for me. But I've been in the Army, as I said, like 20 years. Since 2005 was when I first was drafted. And then, of course, you're supposed to be serving a reserve duty, mostly training exercises, about a month a year is what you're supposed to have, about a month a year. But now, of course, it's been 11 months, I guess, about 11 months straight with breaks, but with no long breaks, short breaks here and there, like now. But 11 months of this.
And that's the crazy thought, is just watching you do that and then balance this incredible, gigantic ministry that you've been running for a decade. I don't know how long, but a long time as well.
Yeah, 12 years, I think it is now. 12 years of this Aliyah Return Center. But you're touching on something that Aaron, when you came to visit me in right where the massacre happened, right near there where the massacre happened, we saw cars crushed. I was pointing out how I can still see like a filter. Instagram has a filter, almost how I can see the world in a filter of what it was when everything was on fire. Now it's gone. Now it's on fire and dead bodies everywhere, and these weird Chinese kind of style motorcycles of the Hamas, and cars on fire and people screaming and missiles hitting. Missiles are still hitting, but I'm just raining down. There's the filter. It's the same places, but I just turn the filter on and off in my mind. And I think a lot of people have that. But my point was, when we were there, I was talking about how important it is to be pedaling the bicycle. You're pedaling the left pedal, the right pedal, which is, it's like prayer, worship, and the word. Prayer and worship and the word. Prayer and worship. And then you're like, I don't really need to pray. I don't need to read the Bible. I've read a lot of Bible. I've read the Bible a few times. I'm good. My sponge is full. And you can coast for a while. You can coast, but suddenly, whoa, what happened there? Something happened in our lives, which is you just can't coast. You can't fall asleep at the wheel. I'm comfy in this chair. I'm just gonna doze off. No, you can't fall asleep at the wheel. And I think not just Israel, and I say straight up, Israel fell asleep at the wheel. Our military. We were just falling asleep at the wheel. Coasting. Our intel, our security, but it's not just Israel. Throughout the world, I see it happen. If you mentioned France, I see it in England. I see the world has fallen asleep at the wheel, and they stopped the pedaling. Mm-hmm. So we're seeing the results.
That's a great analogy in the pedal, the left and the right pedal. You use you just said it. It's prayer. Yeah. The word, worship.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. And just keep going and teach our children that very proactively, or else, it can happen.
You fall asleep at the wheel.
My friend made Aliyah, someone we help. You mentioned the Aliyah Return Center. Yeah. Aliyah, of course, is the in gathering. That gather, it's really Aliyah, to ascend to the promised land, to gather back to the promised land. So we were helping an immigrant. I just met him. He's from Colombia. Jewish man. There's Jewish people scattered to the ends of the earth. You almost go to any country, you find a Jewish person. Unlike how the Kurds are in Kurdistan, mostly. The Japanese, you just have this scattering of Jewish people, and now a regathering back to where the temple, Jerusalem. It's all coming back, and it's all full circle for the end of days. But my point is this man was gathered from Colombia, was my point. And he came back, and I said, so how is it in Colombia? How's Colombia? And he says, well, it's a little sad that there was a lot of terror going on, and for 40 years, the Contras, they're called. I think they're called the Contras. There's this group that was bombing the Contras, and they were bombing the government, and they were some of what we're dealing with. And 40 years of that, and all the drug cartels and all this stuff, and they now are in the government. They've now pushed themselves, like the same thing happened in Lebanon, southern Lebanon. They're in the government now. They're part of the government structure. And I said, ooh, that sounds like what is not going to happen here. Okay, Israel is putting the line in the sand now, telling the whole entire globe, no, terror doesn't work. Because that would be an example of terror works. But no, we're saying no. We're putting a line in the sand. Terror will not work. And I know with the Taliban, same thing. They're now, instead of a fringe little group, they are now running the whole country in Afghanistan.
Oh, that could be a whole podcast. That infuriates me. Those precious women who for 20 years went to university and were free. And in a day, thanks to some terrible leadership on America's part, they're all like slaves, and their value was deep downgraded. And we need Israel in the Middle East.
Yeah.
We need Israel. It's the last hope, a beacon of true democracy.
Yeah, it's so true that there's this galvanization, polarization, where you talk about. I was saying this to Aaron when he was visiting me. Is I just said, you talk about any other people group, and you say, "Do you like the Chinese?" Sure, they're great food. I'm not good at chopsticks, but I'll tell you what, Chinese people, they're not going to say, "I hate them." No one's going to say that, or "I love them." That's what they say about Jewish people, though. Jewish people, it's a polarization, a galvanization. It's I hate them or I love them. It's an extreme situation with these few Jewish people. There's not that many Jewish people in the whole world, really, and but we're seeing that happen right now. That polarization, because that's all the devil knows how to do is kill, steal, destroy. He can't. And what does he want to kill, steal, destroy the most? The promises of God, the place that where the Bible was written, where God promises to dwell one day and make his throne in Jerusalem.
It's the truth.
The Messiah. And
where Messiah shall return. That's right.
Well, this Gentile loves you and all your people and your family, your great family scattered. And I know that you will be gathered. As the Bible says over and over and over again. Chaim, we have a million more things we need to talk about, but you are on leave, and there's a rumor that you and your wife have a movie date tonight. So get out of here, my friend.
You're right.
Come on.
Yes, thank you so much. And hey, keep up the good work. I just honor you, and I honor both of you. To call you friends, that's a huge, huge honor for me, really. And thank you for really taking this time and blessing me, even blessing the Aliyah Return Center. We do give packages of food. We give little food vouchers. It's like $100 for the supermarkets. Fills up a whole shopping cart for each family. They come from Ethiopia. They get school supplies, and they got the Hebrew school and young leadership training, the discipleship school, prayer house, a lot of stuff.
Yes.
But I just thank you guys for so much for making it all possible. And whoever hears this, it's just because of the love and compassion of the Lord. And we're able to help Arabic speakers. That's something people don't really know about us. They didn't make Aliyah, but there are plenty of Arabic peoples, like let's say that fled Lebanon back in the Second Lebanon War. Right. So you have those that are called the Sadalnikim. And they're mostly Christian Arabs. Then there's other Arabic congregations in the Galilee, which are under rocket fire too. Yep. The Hamas, the Hezbollah don't care that they're shooting Arabic or Muslims or Christians, whatever. They don't care. Right. And so we're able to help them out as well.
Beautiful. We'll make sure that we'll put the information for the Aliyah Return Center in the show notes, and people can be directed there and give and donate. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, thanks so much. Hey, Gather America. When is it? Just before you go, when exactly is the date? I'll be in the Army. Looks like
I know. We wish you could have you. Is this going to broadcast after? I don't know, but October 3rd through 5th this year in Orlando. And right now we're working on Gather Europe, next Feast of Trumpets, and we hope we can get you out of the Army to join us in Europe for next Feast of Trumpets, 5786.
We love you, brother. We love you, man.
Love you,
God bless you.
God bless.